It's 7:30 on this Friday Eve, and that means it's time to find out if you like it or not. I'm producer Chris, and tonight we are talking about cherry blossoms, skylines, bonding over budgets, and the TVification of social media, which is, I'm going to have to say that phrase far too often tonight, and I apologize. Before we get into any of that, though, I need some co-hosts. I need all of you out there watching right now to join me live, and there are a lot of different ways to do it. We're streaming. So if you're watching on YouTube on your TV, you can scan that QR code or you can punch in that meeting ID and join us live. If you're watching on the Fox local app on your connected TV, you can make it a two-screen experience. Just grab your phone, like I said, scan the QR code. It'll take you directly into the Zoom room. If you're watching on your phone on YouTube, you can leave some comments in the chat. If you're watching Fox Local Mobile or fox5dc.com and you can't scan the QR code, you can go to my Instagram page, Fox5 Producer Chris. That's where I have a link to the Zoom room posted to the top of my profile. It's also in Fox 5 DC's Instagram page. We have our own broadcast channel, and I've got a link to it there as well. So we will check in with all our virtual co-hosts coming up here in just a little bit. First, though, we're going to dive right in on this Thursday night, and we are starting off with a sure sign of spring. And after the winter that we have had, this is welcome news to a lot of people, but the iconic DC cherry blossoms are what we are talking about tonight, because today we learned when the National Park Service thinks that they will hit peak bloom. Take a listen.
Peak bloom dates are March 29th to April 1st.
And the confetti rains down. In case you couldn't hear it, mark your calendars. Peak bloom will likely fall sometime between March 29th and April 1st, aka April Fool's Day. Peak bloom last year was March 28th. The latest peak bloom on record was April 18th. That was back in 1958. So my question tonight, are you a fan of going down to the tidal basin and checking out the cherry blossoms, or do you want to run and hide and stay as far away as possible? Let's check in with Allison first up. First and foremost, Allison, how was dance class last night?
It was so good, Chris, and I did not hurt my foot. I got just enough energy in there to do what I needed to do. It was amazing. Thank you for asking.
All right, so cherry blossoms. Do you love them? Do you hate them? Do you try to avoid the tourists at all costs?
I love cherry blossoms. Pink is my favorite color, and it's also right around my birthday, which is the end of March. So I'm a big fan of cherry blossoms. I would not go to DC to see them because there's so many tourists and people coming from out of town, and it's very crowded. I did find a little spot. I'm not going to say where it is in Montgomery County. It's where there's a housing area. And people actually park their cars on the side of the road, and there's like a mile or so of just cherry blossoms everywhere. Mm-hmm. So that's my secret little spot that I'll be going to.
I'm curious to know if it's the same secret spot that we send the Fox 5 photographers to every year to check out as well. All right, David's in the Zoom room. David has made his way to the West Coast. I don't think he's flying back to check out the cherry blossoms, but when you were here, was it an annual tradition to head down to the tidal basin, or did you try to avoid it at all costs?
It absolutely was an annual tradition. Have several pictures of myself and the family in its nascent stages. Alex, you know, when he's 1 year old and 2 years old, around the tidal basin. Beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Love it. And when as the weather's getting warmer, it's nice. But man, those crowds are crazy, and the crowds are crazy. But the worst of it is the traffic. If you try to drive at all anywhere in DC between Keybridge down to the Woodrow Wilson, like, you cannot cross the river. You cannot cross. It's just madness. So
you are not.
it's good to take a walk around there. But I like Allison. There's a couple other spots, not tidal basin, where there's cherry blossoms are just as good, and you get the sights without the crushing crowds and traffic.
Yeah, for sure. And you are not kidding when it comes to that traffic. And the thing about that traffic is, too, people head down there like at sunrise. So the crowds start nice and early and loud. I mean, it's so short-lived that you've got to get it in where you can. Freddie, are you showing off a picture from your time down at the cherry blossoms?
Yeah, and this was like 2 years ago. This was 2 years ago I had this picture.
So you
see
braved
that?
the crowds and you headed down there.
Yep, and I just have this picture of Stumpy there. I remember the Stumpy picture,
yeah,
the one
Stumpy. So we learned today that they took like slivers of Stumpy. So Stumpy lives on, despite the fact that, you know, they had to clear out like 400 trees or something like that. Chad's in the Zoom room. Chad, thanks so much for joining us. A, B, wish Laura a happy belated birthday for us, will you?
I will. Thank you.
No problem. Well, I know you just logged in, so I don't know if you heard us talking. We're talking cherry blossoms. The peak bloom prediction came out today. Are you a fan? Do you head down annually, take a picture down there, or do you avoid it at all costs?
Well, Laura and I went down. It was my first time down there. We went down last year for peak bloom. We have this little walking channel called the Happy Wanderers DC. We just do these walking tours of DC. We did a tour of the cherry blossoms. It was insane. I think it's a one and done, kind of like New Year's Eve on Times Square. I think we're done, but it was worth doing at least once. It is pretty. I like it.
All right.
Or you can go to our YouTube channel and just watch it at home.
That's fair, too. They do a live stream. The Trust for the National Mall does do a live stream from, like, I believe the Trump Kennedy Center. They have a camera that looks over at the tidal basin. All right, Cataleya's in the Zoom room tonight. Cataleya, welcome back.
Thank you. What's going on?
Not much. Are you a fan of the cherry blossoms? Do you like heading down to the tidal basin and checking them out?
Okay, so everybody in the Zoom room, don't kill me, but I haven't been down there yet. I've only been here maybe a year from Phoenix, Arizona. So, I mean, you know, I haven't been down there. I really don't plan on going down there because I don't like crowds like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, if you
I
don't
could watch it from the webcam.
Yes, a perfect option. But if you don't like crowds, I highly recommend, maybe avoid it at all costs. I used to live down in Southwest, and my route home took me right past it. And for those 10 days or whatever it was, my commute home basically tripled in length. All right, we're going to stay in the nation's capital for this next story because there's a new anonymous push to overturn the Height Act. Now, in case you don't know, the Height Act is a federal law on the books that basically bans buildings taller than 130 feet or 160 feet, like along Pennsylvania Avenue. There are exceptions. There are more details to what exactly the Height Act is, but that's the gist of it. But as a result, the district is currently one of the largest metro areas in the world without a skyscraper. Now, like I said, a social media account is calling for a change. Axios DC says it's unclear who is behind what is called the Let DC Build account, and attempts to reach them have gone nowhere. But for the record, Mayor Bowser has actually proposed relaxing the Height Act, which has been in effect since 1910. Chad, I'll start with you. The idea of bringing skyscrapers to the nation's capital, do you like that idea or no?
I do not like it. I like our little quaint city the way it is. Skyscrapers. Do you ever look at a skyscraper? Like, what happens up there? Like, what are people doing? You know, these business buildings, like checking emails. We don't need. No, I don't like it. No skyscrapers for me.
You know, since you mention it, this city already has like a glut of office space that is unoccupied. So building more taller buildings, not sure who they're actually going to get to be in them. David, we have talked before about how you like, you know, the monuments the way they are. You don't like the projections on them and stuff like that. So do you like the idea of building skyscrapers that would overshadow that skyline that we currently have, or no?
Not at all. I do not like repealing the Height Act. I like the reason that they put the Height Act in. You know, they could have built skyscrapers. They could have made it a giant city, but instead they didn't want to overshadow the Washington Monument, the Capitol. That skyline needs to remain the icon that it is. Need to keep it pristine. And if the DC metro area needs to spread out more, that's something. Or you can try to do what Paris has done. Paris, so they don't allow anything taller than what were like the average heights of buildings in 1800, and nothing will compete with the Eiffel Tower. But across the river, about 10 miles away, still in the city limits of Paris, is a district they call La Défense. and it's all the skyscrapers and high rises, but it's far enough away that it doesn't mess up the Paris skyline. So if anybody in DC is dying for skyscrapers, we got to build up, then that's a possible solution. But I'm against it. Keep it the way it is. I like seeing that Washington Monument and the Capitol is beautiful.
All right, Allison, are we going to go 3 for 3 here? Keep the Height Act in place? No skyscrapers in Washington, D.C.?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we need skyscrapers. It's more maintenance, more things to do. It just looks unequivalent. We don't need it. I don't think we need it at all.
Yeah, and honestly, I would have to change a couple tattoos if we got rid of the skyline that it exists as it is today. And the cherry blossom, same deal. I've got some of those on me as well. I agree, and it's nice to be down on the Georgetown riverfront and look over at Roslyn or Crystal City and see the skyscrapers. Look out at Silver Spring and see some of those taller buildings. We don't necessarily need them in downtown DC along the National Mall. All right, next up, another one from right here in the DMV, and this one involves some backlash for Metro. The transit agency posted this picture on X yesterday showing a removable obstacle, a pole, in front of an escalator at Dulles International Airport, at the Metro station for Dulles International. WMATA says it's there to encourage customers with big bags to use the elevator instead. They say, Jim Loke is coming in to join us right now, which is why I took a quick pause there. WMATA says it's there to encourage customers with big bags to use the elevator instead. They say it's designed to reduce trips and falls and improve safety. However, not everyone loves it. A lot of the comment section called it a terrible idea. One person wrote, what if you're an adult human who's been on Earth before and knows how to bring a bag onto an escalator without tripping and falling? So, Jim, an airport station trying to stop people with luggage from using an escalator. Do you like this or not?
We just talked about this on over on Like It or Not. I think it's reasonable. I think the problem is not everybody is, yes, people are capable of doing it, but you can't trust everybody to get to it correctly. And I'm somebody who once got mowed over on a mall escalator by somebody who didn't know how to hold a stroller, because in the grand scheme of things, you're not supposed to take a stroller up the escalator.
The other thing is this is a brand new station.
Yeah.
They just built this.
Right.
They could have theoretically, and again, I'm no expert in any of these fields, but I feel like sometimes these escalators are as narrow as possible.
Well,
and that's how it is at like Union Station on the Amtrak as well, and you kind of run into the same issue.
There's a reason why there's an elevator, and they want people to use the elevator. This happened to me a couple weeks ago as well. I was coming off a cruise, and we were getting back to Miami, and we had to go down the escalator, and they were telling you, like, they looked at my bag, because I had a full-size suitcase. They're like, elevator. I'm like, okay, that's fine, it's reasonable, but that means somebody did not know how to properly hold on to it in the first place. I have full confidence in my abilities.
Every time there is something like this, it's there for a reason, because of something someone did.
Right.
Just like every great sign at a bar that says, don't do this, it's because someone did do that.
Somebody did it.
Chad, do you like this or not? Happy birthday, Laura.
Thank you. Well, you said something like, what if it's not your first day on Earth? I mean, have these people ever been to an airport? It's everybody's first day on Earth at the airport.
That's very
Nobody
fair.
knows what they're doing. Nobody knows where to go. No, like I've seen people go the opposite direction on the escalator.
I've seen people,
Like they're using like a Stairmaster.
I've seen like people with a big, like those city bikes that weigh 150 pounds. If that lets go, that's going to take out 10 people.
Yep.
Like seriously injure people, if not kill people, probably. Yeah. So no, I like the discouragement of bringing the large bags on the escalator. I'm for it.
Yeah, agree.
All right, David, best behavior, all right? I don't want to hear any nonsense out of you. Let's stick to the subject at hand.
That's right, man.
Stick to the subject at hand. Do you like this idea by WMATA or not?
You're asking a lot from me, Chris. But no, I do not like it. If the escalator's too, first of all, there's not enough capacity in the elevator for everyone with bags to go up it. You're just gonna overwhelm that. If you don't like the stoppage on the escalator, you know what's right next to the escalators?
Stairs.
Stairs. Use the stairs. Use the stairs. It's okay.
All right, I tend to agree with you more than I agree with you, Jim, admittedly, only because I hate waiting for the elevator in any sort of situation.
It's reasonable, but also I think there's a difference between having a carry-on and like a big 60-pound suitcase.
I agree with that. Yeah. All right. Next up, good news for the fiscally conservative daters out there. Cosmo says being frugal is the new turn-on, and couples are now bonding over budgets. The magazine says the trend is less about being stingy and more about being in sync. They say knowing how your partner spends, saves, and stresses about money has become a compatibility test. Financial transparency is the unexpected love language of the year, and the unsexy let's just cook type of decisions now matter more than the grand gestures. Jim, showing you're serious about each other by splitting expenses. Do you like it or not?
I think if you're playing the long game, it makes sense because at least you know what you're in for. You're looking for somebody who's not trying to be over extravagant, trying to wow you by these big purchases. So in this case, it makes total sense. If you're playing for keeps and you want to find somebody who's on the same wavelength financially, then there you go. There's your option.
On the other hand,
Okay, go ahead.
don't you like a little balance in a relationship?
But isn't that? I mean, so what? So you're saying you might have somebody who's very cheap and
Yes.
somebody who's
Okay,
who wants-
cheap, somebody more fiscally conservative or responsible.
Just say
We'll
cheap, it's
well, okay,
fine.
no, but well, I'm not because my wife is watching, and
Oh.
in our relationship, I'm the one who's like flush with cash, Jean Ralphio style, even though I'm not.
Oh my God, you are John Ralphio.
I know, I am.
That's crazy.
In a lot of ways, but I'm not.
Yeah.
But I act like I am, and
Okay.
she's there to rein me in.
But
And I think that's a good balance.
Sometimes it's being a baller on a budget.
Yeah, a baller on a budget. I'll take that. Allison, bonding over splitting expenses, turn on being fiscally responsible. Do you like this or not?
You know what, Chris? I'm with you on this. There has to be some balance. You don't want everybody to have the exact same thing that you do or the same habits. So if one person spends a lot and the other person's a saver, you can actually teach each other and help each other out and still have a good relationship. So it just depends on what type of couple it is.
Yeah, that's fair. Catalea, do you like this or not? Bonding over budgeting.
So I'm a little iffy on it. I'm half and half with it because I love to shop. I am a shopper. However, when I need to save my money, I do know how to buckle down and save money. And I would expect my partner to know how to save money himself, or at least teach me how to save my money.
Yeah, that's right. A good yin and yang. Chad and Laura.
But I mean, Jim Loke,
What's up?
you're supposed to be cooking for me. So
I don't cook for myself.
okay, well, I mean, we can go out.
I'll
forgive
have to take you out. All right, Chad, are you more than me in this in the relationship who likes to pretend like they can afford the world? And when do you bring up this idea of like being on a budget?
We don't budget. We live below our means so we can afford the three major purchases: guitars,
There you go.
Food and aliens.
aliens, and food.
So we agree on this.
Yes.
You
Bonded
guys-
over budgeting.
You guys are literal proof that there is someone out there for everyone.
Say there's props. It's great.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Jim Loke?
Yeah, what's up?
Nothing. Just saying hi.
Hey, what's up, man?
David,
good to be seen by you.
are our traditionally fiscally conservative one in the Zoom room. You know, I always like to call on you for these types of stories. But seriously, like, if you're just starting a relationship with someone, how early into it do you say you're buckling down? You're not going to be the big spender. You're not going to go all out.
Yeah, or as you're describing me, or as Jim Loke would call it, cheap, I guess.
No.
Hey, my arch nemesis.
No, I think there's something about being thrifty. I love coupons. I love finding ways to save money. I love coming in and bragging about a good deal.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's necessarily
Listen,
being cheap.
the people,
I'm just teasing you. I'm just teasing you.
I know.
But,
I just want to
no,
establish.
I mean, I think
Yeah.
the rich stay
Sorry.
wealthy because they save their money.
True. That's an equation that works for some. It doesn't work for all of them, but I think that works out that's a good idea in initial stages of a relationship to know what your spending habits are, know what your limits are, but once your relationship develops, you can expand and specialize. If whoever the breadwinner is, you can grow accustomed to what tastes you guys like, what you guys can afford, and you can branch out into the one who kind of focuses on the household and one who focuses on making money for the family.
So you're saying setting expectations that way?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's you really, just like you need to learn different aspects of your partner and their personality, everything about them. One of them is their fiscal behavior,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
whether you're compatible. Because your tastes can be different, your behaviors can be different, and these are definitely things that need to match up to have a lasting relationship.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
Money matters when it comes to relationships and love, unfortunately.
I mean, I know people who have unfortunately who got into a heap of financial trouble because one person in the relationship was an overspender, was addicted to QVC, spent thousands and thousands of dollars. They, out of a house for a while. I mean, it can take a nasty turn.
It sure can.
Yeah.
All right. Keep the comments coming on all the stories we have talked about so far. Coming up next, we're talking about the TVification of social media and if you like it or not. We'll be right back. I fired it.
Right.
All right, welcome back to Do You Like It or Not on this Thursday night, Friday Eve, alongside Final Five host Jim Loke. Thanks so much for hanging out.
My pleasure.
Keeping
Good to
me
spend time
company.
with you. Yeah.
All right, we teased it. Let's talk about social media now because content is old news, all right? Everyone knows if you're on social media, your feed has changed dramatically. Shows are now so 2026, according to the analysts. Experts call the trend the TVification of social media. Brands are now launching sitcoms, sketch shows, and dating series on Instagram and TikTok. They're not ads designed as entertainment. They are actual shows with characters, storylines, and audiences that come back episode after episode. Sometimes the only mention of the actual brand or product is in the caption or the actual social handle. Analysts say it's because brands know their actual competition for your attention is not other brands, it's YouTube and Netflix and other social media sites. As a result, social first shows can both entertain consumers and build brand affinity. The TVification of social media, Jim. Do you like this or not?
If it's not completely overt, if they're doing it coyly and not really putting the brand front and center, I mean, why not? Chevy did this about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
They did a sitcom called Under the Blue Arch, where the only overt thing was the fact it was at a Chevy dealership. But it was supposed to be about hijinks behind the scenes. It did not work out. They put some episodes online. It was part of an advertising campaign. People didn't respond. That was 15 years ago, though.
Yeah, but way ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
Chad, do you like this idea of your feed being full of like shows that are actually being done by like products and brands?
How times have changed. We just started rewatching Mad Men last night or this Monday, and what a great show! I mean, it was just like, isn't it so weird how everything has changed so much in our lifetime? We've saw some real change. I don't know. I don't know. I have to see it. I'm not against it because if you're against it, then you just like get off my porch. But like you have to try to get on board. How long are these shows going to be? Like 20 minutes, 10 minutes? Do we know? Do we have any idea?
Well, I mean, each episode is like literal minutes long because it's designed for a TikTok audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is the way we have to go, right? Nobody goes to movies anymore. Nobody has the attention span for an hour and a half to 2 hour movie. So I guess this is where we're at. I'm going to start doing this. I'm going to start doing something called reading.
Oh yeah, it's a hot
heard of it?
phenomenon, right?
Yeah,
There
I'm going to
is,
start doing that. I think.
Remember what was the Quibi, where it was? It was
that was ahead of its time.
It
too.
was the app where you could watch brief 5-6 minute episodes of different shows, but there were a lot of constraints. Like you couldn't watch it on your TV, you couldn't stream it, you couldn't cast it to your TV, and it died a quick death. I mean, it lost hundreds of millions of dollars. But
and I mean, they couldn't have predicted the pandemic and what would happen with TikTok and everything like that.
Right.
But it was poised to be such a big thing, and they
Yeah.
recruited some of the biggest names in Hollywood. Kevin Hart, John Travolta,
Right.
everybody had their own show on Quibi, and then before you knew it, it was dead. Allison, do you like this idea of brands getting into like sitcoms and dating shows and things like that to try to just lure people in and associate their brand with something that they enjoy watching?
No, Chris, I think the people are too lured in already. It's just another distraction. It's just too much. If I want to watch TV, me and my bad eyesight will watch a regular TV, but it's going to be too small to be on the phone. Like I said, it's already enough distractions on the phone to keep you from doing things you're trying to do. So I'm not a fan of this.
Not a fan of this. I can't see myself getting into it just because I can't like commit to like being a fan of something
you get
else.
distractions at home now.
We've got, well, that part too. That actually, so we did the story about Instagram putting like Reels, an app on your TV.
Yeah.
Have you
No.
even tried it?
Haven't tried it yet, no. But I found myself, I moved recently, and I was hedging on whether or not to put a TV in my bedroom or not. Like I could watch it on my phone if I wanted to. Now I put the TV up. It's nice to lay back and watch something stupid before I go to bed.
Yeah, I respect that. I would probably watch way more TV if I had one as well. All right, we're going to skip ahead, Jim. First, it was the golden retriever boyfriend. Then it was the black cat boyfriend. Spring 2026, though, all about the reptile boyfriend.
God.
What does that mean? Examples include Dancing with the Stars champion Robert Irwin, Traders champion Robert Roush, if I'm saying that right, Lana Del Rey's husband, Jeremy Dufresne, who is a literal alligator like swamp farmer or something like that. So what's the draw? Analysts say reptiles like snakes or alligators are a common fear, and seeing someone act casual around them is, pun intended, sexy. They say there's also something appealing about the reptile boyfriend's ability to love something regardless of its perceived beauty, intelligence, and intention. So the reptile boyfriend, Jim, do we like this or
I'm
not?
tired of the names for everything. Like, like honestly, what do you? I guess it makes some sense here, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't know necessarily if that's something you want to be called. You want to be known as
The reptile boyfriend?
Unless if you're a reptile handler, then maybe that's something you.
Well, see, that's the
clamor
weird thing
for.
about this one. When they talked about the black cat boyfriend, it was like somebody who was just like moody and quiet, while the girlfriend was like more outgoing and social. When it was the golden retriever boyfriend, the example was Travis Kelce, like happy and dumb and just like fun to be around. This is too literal. They
It's
are
very
literally
literal.
talking about snake handlers.
Yeah.
And Robert Irwin, who is the son of Steve Irwin, who
Right.
was like the famous alligator crocodile. What was he? The alligator crocodile hunter.
But he was wasn't he the child that the crocodile hunter was feeding alligators
he was
with?
like
and,
holding him out over it.
I'm gonna feed this chicken to this croc over here.
That was a pretty good impression of
Thank
that,
you.
actually. Allison, the reptile boyfriend, do we like it or not?
We don't like it. That was a great impression there, Jim.
Thank
Good
you.
job. But no, we don't like that at all, because what if we get into an argument and he knows I'm scared of reptiles, then he wants to bring that thing around me and try to freak me out? No, thank you.
That's a Maury Povich episode
That
right
is
there.
absolutely an episode of some daytime talk show. Chad, the reptile boyfriend, do we like it or not?
I have a reptile girlfriend. She she wanted like a pet tarantula and snake, and she doesn't know I'm Gen X. I grew up thinking I was going to be murdered by a tarantula or a rattlesnake because of the Brady Bunch and stuff. So I said I don't want a snake or a spider, but she wants one.
Okay.
She's yelling from the bathroom right now. I want a snake.
Putting all your business out there,
Right,
Laura.
right.
Seriously. Catalea, the reptile boyfriend, do you like it or not? Speaks volumes without saying a word. Just the head shake. I appreciate it. Thank you to everybody who joined us in the Zoom room tonight. Thank you to Jim Loke for joining us
Thanks,
here.
buddy.
Sorry I didn't get to this story. If you want to read some of those ahead of time.
No, I'm okay.
You're good? All right. I apologize.
Wow.
He's going to save that one.
Can't
for
wait to hear
later.
Tony P talk about this one.
I know. I'm going to save that one for Tony P. I invited him to be on the show tonight. All right. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in
Tony talking
on
about
Fox 5
testicles.
DC's YouTube page and Fox Local. For producer Jim, I'm producer Chris. Tishan, the Fox 5 News at 8 coming up next. We'll be back at 9 o'clock for the live Zone prime time.
Wow.
Yeah.